Hello, Psychology 111 students. We are going to be talking about extra credit. At this point in the course, some of you are wondering about extra credit, if we can get it, how we get it, and so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that today. What I want us to do for extra credit assignments most weeks is going to be article summaries. So we've covered a few articles in the course. I've described a few different scientific research study articles in the course already. But I would like you to get some experience reading those and summarizing them yourself so you can start to understand better where to find valid psychological research and how to read it and to be able to understand it better, to synthesize those ideas. And all these article summaries will be relevant to the week that you're in. So here in iLearn, under the lessons, you'll see the notes from instructor. This is where I will put the article summaries at the bottom of this page. Obviously we're in lesson 3 right now, so there's no article summaries listed there, but I'll give you an example. So this is lesson 3 again, but at the bottom, when I do allow extra credit for that week, I will put this. You'll have extra credit for this week. It'll give you instructions. It'll link to this video so you can review these instructions on how to do it. And I will leave you 3 or 4 article references that you can then go and search for and read on your own to write a summary about. And these references, right now obviously positive developmental psychology, these are just a few references I pulled up from some papers that I've read, and they're not relevant to this week's material that we're in, week 3, but I will put references possibly in lesson 4 that are relevant to lesson 4 or lesson 5 to lesson 5. And I want you to do these article summaries within that week. So if you feel like you're wanting some extra credit or you need some extra credit, you have that week to do the article summary. So you'll have the week of lesson 4 or the week of lesson 5. I'm not going to accept article summaries at the end of class or at the end of the entire semester for previous weeks. I don't want you to get to the end having not planned ahead and realize, oh, I need some more points, and go back and do those things. The main point of these article summaries is to give you some more depth of your knowledge on certain materials in the course. If you're really interested in what we're learning that week, it's a great place to go and find some good articles about it and to extend and deepen your knowledge in that subject. So article summaries for extra credit will be due on Saturday night, like the unit exams are, and they will be worth 5 points. So that's about half of a quiz, half of your chapter quizzes. So 5 points due on the Saturday of the week, and you will find them in the notes from instructor at the beginning of the lessons. So I may put one up for lesson 4, I may put one up for lesson 5. Alright, so now that we have the citations for the article, how do we actually find the article? I showed you how to do this during week 1, but I'll show you again. I find it easiest to copy the title of the article and then jump over to either EBSCOhost through the BYU Idaho library or Google Scholar. So if you search through EBSCOhost, you will you'll sometimes find, I'll just go here, I've already searched for it earlier, you'll sometimes find that they don't have full text available, but it'll tell you how to find full text. Sometimes that will link you to another website with the PDF. Sometimes that will tell you to go to the actual physical library at BYU Idaho, where they have, for example, this journal that we're looking for. And that's one reason I like to use Google Scholar most, because they give you these nice easy links. Here's the article we were looking for, and here is a PDF. So we click on that, and here's the article we wanted. You might want to check the year on it, check that it's the right journal, make sure it's the right title and the right author. And once you've found the article, you find a title that looks interesting, you should look at the abstract. So this is the author's summary of this article, and read that summary to get an idea of what the article is going to be talking about. And if that sounds interesting to you, use this article for your article summary. but I don't want to see you copying and pasting any abstracts or copying and pasting pieces out of articles. As I read your article summary, if I think something has been copied and pasted from the article, I will put it through turnitin.com, and I've read all these articles that I'll give you, so I have a good idea of what's in there, and I have summaries of them myself, so I can go back and check with that to make sure you're actually summarizing what you should be for the article, that you are understanding it. These are all things that I've read in the past. So don't plagiarize. If you plagiarize, you'll obviously get no credit on the assignment, on the extra credit assignment, and you will likely get turned into the honor office for plagiarism, because it is a serious issue in academia. Our ideas, my ideas that I'm developing and researching, have come from other researchers' ideas. They didn't just pop up in my head brand new. So I need to cite the researchers that I'm building off of and show that I understand where my ideas have come from. And when I quote things from articles, I need to show exactly where those come from. But that's enough on that. So here's your article. You've read your article now, either online or you can download it. Now, how do you write an article summary? There are two primary ways to write article summaries. One of them is the outline form, and one of them is the paragraph form. Here is an example of an outline form of an article summary. And this is one that I wrote on Milgram's behavioral study of obedience. And I find the outline format to be the most effective and most efficient, because when you come back to read your summary later on, you might only be looking for, say, the procedure that they used in the study. So rather than having to read through a bunch of text to find the procedure, you can go, okay, methods, procedure, there it is. Whereas a paragraph form, it will take a little bit longer to read through, but it really depends on how you take your notes and what you think works best for you. I find this works best for me. If you find a paragraph form works best for you, use it and stay consistent. Because if you're consistent with your notes in article summaries, in class notes, it's going to be easier for you to go back to your notes and read things. Because you will find as you continue on in your academic career, you'll be reminded, oh, I remember that study, or I remember in that class we talked about this. And if you're consistent with how you take notes, it'll be easier to find those things. So here again is an example of an outline article summary. And here at the bottom I have a quote, and this is the biggest thing I would want you to quote from, and it needs to have a good reason. If you're going to quote from the article, you would want to put something like quote and then have quotation marks around it. And the point of including this was to show some of the dramatic reactions some of the participants had in the Milgram shock study. So there's the outline format. Here is a paragraph format article summary. You may sometimes find an article with a large table that's relevant that you might want to include that by taking a screenshot or something like that. Just make sure that you describe what it's there for, why you're including it, and that you have enough text that you're summarizing so that you're not just using the author of the article's words and things that they wrote. So for these article summaries, I want them to be in between 1 and 3 pages. If you have a shorter summary than 1 page, you haven't grasped the content of the article. You're not writing down all the main points and all the things that you should have in your summary. If you go longer than 3 pages, it means you're not summarizing well enough. I think that a good rule of thumb is 2 pages. I usually go about 1.5 to 2 pages, so somewhere to about here or here on the second page is how long my article summaries are usually. But you can go in between 1 and 3 pages, get the detail in there that you need so that when you come back to read your article summary, you'll be able to remember what was going on. It will have enough detail that you can apply it to whatever work you're doing then. So these are worth 5 points. So in summary, article summaries, you can find which articles are worth extra credit in the notes from instructor every week, or every week I choose. And there will be 3 or 4 articles. You can look them up, see which one sounds the most interesting. They'll be at the bottom of the notes from instructor, which again are going to be right below the first thing in a lesson. They'll be down here. You search for them through the library here at EBSCOhost or through Google Scholar. You write a outline article summary or a paragraph article summary of 1 to 3 pages, and I prefer 1.5 spacing because it looks better than this double spacing. There's just a lot of wasted space, but you don't have to do that. I would just prefer it. And so those will be worth 5 points, and that is what you get for extra credit on weeks when I include them. And I encourage you to go through these article summaries even if you don't need extra credit. Go through the articles if you're really interested in the material for the week, because it's going to be based on that week's material. It'll extend your knowledge, deepen it, and that's the point of doing these assignments. It's a valuable thing that will help you in whatever career that you do. It'll help you with your reading, it'll help you with your writing, it'll help you with understanding the material for the week, which will help you on your quizzes and tests, and it will give you extra credit points, which is great as well. So if you have any questions about extra credit, send me an email and I will try to clear that up for the whole class. And good luck finding articles that you enjoy and learning more about psychology.